Welcome back. We got something special for you coming up next. ABC 10 News is honoring the Native American tribes that call San Diego home. We explore how they're keeping their heritage alive by preserving culture and tradition and protecting their language and land. Celebrating Native Americans, an ABC 10 News special is coming up immediately following this newscast. Kim and I did some work on that, and you should check it out. It's going to be good. Well, thanks so much for joining us tonight at 7. We'll see you back here at 11. Wishing you love, peace, and good health.
Honoring the rich history of those who first settled our land.
I think it's a wonderful life.
Embracing heritage, preserving traditions. Celebrating the diverse culture and important contributions of our nation's first people.
We're not just like headbands and like feathers on the top of our heads, like we're so much more than that.
Telling the stories of their past, present, and future.
And now, celebrating Native Americans, an ABC 10 News special, sponsored by Jamul Casino.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Wale Aliyu. November is Native American Heritage Month, and this evening we are highlighting their big role in San Diego County. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll look at the history of local Native American tribes, the huge economic impact of tribal casinos on our economy, the rich culture and traditions that continue to be practiced, and what's being done to preserve them among future generations.
But first, San Diego County is home to about 20,000 Native Americans. ABC 10 News reporter Madison Weil takes a look back at the history and living legacy of our local tribes.
If you take a stroll through USD's campus, you might stumble upon this serene lookout. It's part of the Kumeyaay Garden, an interactive display honoring the Kumeyaay people, San Diego's first inhabitants. You'll see words like equality, nonviolence, peace, representing core pillars of a culture that practiced respect and reciprocity with Mother Nature.
Encourage people to take a moment to just pause and imagine the land free of obstruction, without the current buildings and highways, and to envision what it felt like here.
Sami Waitua is the tribal liaison for USD's Center for Inclusion and Diversity. She explains San Diego County has 20 tribal nations. 18 of them have federally recognized reservations.
Each tribe has their own identity, they have their own culture, they have their own ways of living in community.
And each has helped shape the unique and vibrant cultural fabric that makes up San Diego County today. But to fully understand the present, it's essential to recognize the past, a past filled with the inhumane treatment of Native Americans as explorers and colonists arrived.
Federal policies that enforced erasure, genocide, assimilation, they had a big influence on what San Diego County is now, because tribal nations and tribal leaders basically had to negotiate their livelihood.
Waitua says the way forward is for more to learn about tribal history.
I think about the ways that we're trying to restore balance, where tribal nations are trying to deconstruct and heal. There's more representation in activism.
One way everyone can do their part, simply by adopting some basic Kumeyaay values, caring about the earth and those around you.
When we think about the ways that people are contributing to environmental justice and climate issues, there is a tie to tribal nations because they were the first stewards of this land.
Madison Weil, ABC 10 News.
Tribal gaming is a critical driver of the economic activity in San Diego County. ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco shows us how local Indian casinos contribute much more than just gaming.
Whether you're there to try your luck on the slots, relax in a luxury resort, or dine in one of the countless restaurants. It's no wonder some have called San Diego County the Indian casino capital of the world. The county has the highest number of tribal reservations. Of the 18 Native American reservations, 10 have casinos. Sycuan Casino Resort has been operating the longest, recently celebrating its 39th anniversary.
Our people have been here for 6 or 7 generations on this specific land, and then as a Native American tribe, we've been here, as our creation story says, since time immemorial.
Cody Martinez is the chairman of the Sycuan Band of the Kumeyaay Nation. He grew up on the reservation near El Cajon and is proud of his Native American roots.
It just means a lot to be able to be, have a recognition, both at the federal, state, and local levels.
The region's tribal casinos are located in the East and North counties. Sycuan, Viejas, Barona Valley Ranch, Jamul, and Golden Acorn are in the East County. Harrah's Resort Southern California, Pechanga, Valley View, Casino Palma, and Pala Casino are North County inland.
Casino isn't just a casino. And that fact that we have tribal casinos here makes all the difference.
Dr. Kate Spieldy is a professor at San Diego State and the endowed chair at the school's Sycuan Institute on Tribal Gaming. She's been studying the economic and social impacts of tribal gaming for decades.
People are familiar with the casinos in Las Vegas. A lot of those revenues are owned by shareholders, they're corporations. So the benefits don't come to Las Vegas. Here in San Diego, each and every casino property is owned by a local, obviously indigenous community, operated by the tribal government, specifically for the purpose of improving that community and the region.
Improvements that include healthcare, infrastructure, and emergency response. Tribal police and fire departments don't just respond to calls on the reservation.
We believe that, the services of healthcare, of police, of fire, these things are like pillars of any government. And so we've been very happy that we can operate those departments.
Mary Cheeks knows the difference between commercial casinos and tribal casinos firsthand. She spent years in commercial gaming before joining the newest casino in Southern California. Jamul Casino opened in 2018. Cheeks is the president and general manager.
And that team environment is what makes this casino specifically so successful.
So successful, Cheek says the casino is in the planning stages to build a high-rise hotel and event center. Native American Heritage Month is a way to showcase how far the tribe has come.
Jamul Indian Village tribe for 20 plus years tried to establish this casino, and we're now 6 years old. And it means a lot to the tribal member itself for economic development and resilience, as well as to our 1,200 team members that some have entered into life-changing positions, as well as to the community.
Spildy says across California, it's estimated that 78,000 jobs are directly generated by Indian gaming. More than 75% are non-tribal members. The games may look the same, but the winners reach well beyond the casino floor.
Critics of the industry miss these incredible differences of the ownership model. Corporations have a shareholder value mentality. Tribal governments have a nation building and philanthropy mentality.
Whether it's a one-time donation or long-term sponsorship, that philanthropy is felt across the region. Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
The languages of Indian tribes are sacred, and yet many are at risk of becoming extinct. Several tribes in San Diego County speak the Kumeyaay language. ABC 10 News reporter Nia Watson spoke with one tribe working to keep its language alive and how Google is helping to preserve it.
Today's a good day.
The native tongue of the Kumeyaay Indians has been passed down for countless generations, but today few on the Barona Reservation speak it fluently. One of them is Patrick Kuro.
How do you say how are you?
If we do not understand our words, we do not understand all of the culture. It's the foundation.
He says the tribe's language is deeply rooted in their beliefs. Every word has a meaning, a connection to their way of life.
The word for earth, dirt, ground is amut. And the word for our body is amut. Same word. That's because our bodies come from the ground, Mother Earth. We come from our mother.
But Kuro wasn't always this knowledgeable about the Kumeyaay dialect. He says when he was young, all of the elders spoke in the native tongue, but his father discouraged him from learning it.
He said, that language is gone, and you need to be sure that you can speak English, because English is what's going to get you ahead in this world.
Instead, Kuro learned the language from his grandparents and listening to recordings on how to pronounce words. Today, he teaches the language at the Borona Museum and Cultural Center.
I think the museum is a big part of retaining our culture.
Also working to preserve indigenous languages is Google Arts and Culture through its web app, Wallaroo. The tool allows you to take photos of objects and translate them from your language to a tribal language.
But no.
It essentially is finding a way to leverage and use technology to help promote, share, and preserve less used or maybe even endangered or at-risk languages globally.
Head of Preservation Chance Kokenauer says the tool has 17 indigenous languages, including the Kumeyaay tribes.
It was interesting to learn about how this language is spoken by people on both sides of the border, both in Southern California and Northern Baja.
Kuro helped translate around 700 words for people to learn. He says he's glad others have taken interest in their culture and hopes the app will remove what he says is a misconception about ancient Indian tribes.
You know, they just barely Neanderthals, you know. But no, we were a very sophisticated, knowledgeable people and spoke a language that the Creator gave us.
Nia Watson, ABC 10 News.
And the Wallaroo app is free. You can learn more about the Kumeyaay Indians at the Borona Museum and Cultural Center.
The Pala tribe is also on a mission to preserve its language, which is known as Cupaño.
The Kisma is no other sister.
Eric Ortega is one of a handful of tribal members who speak their language. He says he used to come to classes at the Kupa Cultural Center when he was younger, but those classes eventually stopped sometime in the 1980s after the last fluent speaker passed away. But Ortega is now trying to change that. He knows Cupaño well enough to help others learn, but stops short of calling himself a teacher. He and some others started classes back up 3 years ago, and the interest level was encouraging.
It was actually pretty good, pretty good. A lot of kids, a lot of people want to learn it. Not just kids, but older people too.
Ortega says the hope is to educate a whole new generation of speakers and to eventually open a bilingual school or an immersion program.
Access to top healthcare services is also a priority for local Native Americans. This is the San Diego American Indian Health Center in downtown. It was first established in 1979. The center provides medical, dental, behavioral health, and community wellness services to the local Native American community, as well as all San Diegans.
Well, a lot of times, people may be lacking resources. There's a lot of the underserved community that we help support too. And if someone was in crisis, we can handle that here. This is a non-emergency facility, but we can also make sure that they get the care that they need.
The San Diego American Indian Health Center is getting ready to break ground on a brand new facility just north of its current location. We're told the new facility will be 4 times bigger and offer more services and access to the community.
So powwows are the Native American people's way of keeping tradition alive by dancing, singing, renewing old friendships, and making new ones.
ABC 10 News reporter Sierra Encinas introduces us to the man behind powwows in San Diego.
It's a Native American tradition that dates back to the 19th century.
A powwow is an Eastern tribal name for a gathering of people.
Randy Edmonds is an elder or a wisdom keeper that carries on Native American traditions in our community. He founded the program in San Diego that hosts powwows.
It's very important for the tribes to try to retain their rich heritage through perpetuating their songs, their dances, their spirituality.
He says it brings together all tribes in the area.
Each tribal member tries to wear the regalia of their own tribe. And that could be feather work, could be buckskin for the women or cloth for the women. It could be a cloth for the men.
And of course,
fry bread.
He says it all began for him in Los Angeles in the 50s when he founded a powwow club. And when he moved to San Diego years later, there was already one.
It was made up of people that were in the armed forces that came to serve their time here. And they were of Native descent, and they wanted to continue their own traditions. It was called the Pacific Coast Indian Club.
He says there are about 20,000 urban Native Americans, or people who aren't from the area. He says hosting powwows is so important because it keeps the culture alive in today's society.
Hopefully keep the name of Native Americans in societal language so that they know that we're here.
Sierra Encinas, ABC 10 News.
A few years ago, the Paula Band of Mission Indians replaced its long-standing powwow celebration with an annual Honoring Traditions gathering. And these are pictures from the tribe's most recent event. As you can see, people young and old took part in several different activities, which included painting, rock climbing, and bow and arrow. Organizers say the annual event is meant to give people the opportunity to celebrate while learning about the history and the culture of the tribe.
Bird songs are also an ancient tradition from Native American tribes in Southern California. Bird songs are characterized by men singing to the beat of gourd rattles, along with dancing. Bird songs tell stories about the lessons learned during the migration throughout the seasons, the origin, journey, and return home. The migration parallels the movement of people through territories, and the stories intend to instruct, inspire, guide, and preserve lifestyles and traditions.
And he's been leading the way for more than 30 years.
Coming up, we'll introduce you to the chair of the Paula Band of Mission Indians, the unprecedented growth the community has seen since he took over. Welcome back. As San Diego's Native American community moves forward, it will need leaders who can meet the challenges and changes of the next century.
ABC 10 News anchor Jared Aarons introduces us to Paula's chairman, who led the tribe into a future few would have thought possible.
So this land here was my great-grandmother's, now it's mine.
Paula Chairman Robert Smith sees his family history hanging on the walls.
This is one of the pictures of the wagon train when they relocated us from Warner's.
And he sees his tribe's traditions reflected in himself, from the woven baskets in this case to the tribal logo throughout his office. It's a history and a tradition he's worked for more than 30 years to preserve.
It ain't about me, it's about my people.
Smith has been the chair of the Paula Band of Mission Indians since 1990. He calls it an honor for a kid who grew up poor.
Sometimes we didn't have hot water, I never had my mom made a lot of homemade things, so we ate a lot of, biscuits and tortillas and beans and rice and noodles, never no meat or nothing.
He remembers going to Catholic school on the reservation, playing at the park, which was mostly a dirt lot, and he marvels when he thinks about life for kids in his tribe now.
It's a lot different today. Kids growing up, they have so many opportunities.
Opportunities that Smith worked hard to provide. Under his watch, the tribe has seen unprecedented growth. In 1996, he negotiated the first tribal state compact in California with then-Governor Pete Wilson, leading to the casino that opened in 2001 and hotel a year later. At the time, Smith told ABC 10 News it would help the tribe grow.
Tangibly, it's a major economic engine to enhance operations the tribe has now and currently provide more services to our members.
The casino and resort provide 1,200 jobs and millions of dollars of economic impact to the area every year. As chair, he's also made sure every member has health, dental, and vision insurance, and he's been instrumental in creating home loan and scholarship programs to help break the cycle of poverty so common among his people.
The services the tribe provides to the people, I think that's really rewarding.
Awards and gifts around his office show the love he's received in return, but nothing compares to the love of his family, his wife and 4 daughters. Pictures of them cover a dresser always in sight.
See, but this is our big meeting hall where we have meetings.
And as Smith gets ready to lead his people into the future, a focus on Paula's history and tradition is his next big project.
You know, I grew up, they always talk about the Midwestern Indians, the teepees were different here. You know, we're hunters, we're gatherers, we do traditional things and, you know, kind of live off the land.
Smith says he wants to bring more Native American history classes to California schools to make sure everyone learns how his people and others like them made California what it is today. Jared Aarons, ABC 10 News.
Cuyamaca College students building a replica Kumeyaay village on campus.
And coming up, how it's being used as a tool to learn about the history and culture of the tribe. There is a charter school in North County that primarily serves Native American children. All Tribes American Indian Charter opened in 2010. It's located in Valley Center on the Rincon Indian Reservation. The school has small classes and also offers a remote learning option if needed.
Our focus is for Native American kids and really honoring and paying attention to learning styles, paying attention to our community and families, paying attention to safety, and really having individual relationships with all of our families and their students.
The school's co-founder says All Tribes originally opened as a 6th through 8th grade school. It eventually expanded to 6th through 12th, and after parents requested more classes, the school expanded even more to offer traditional kindergarten through 12th grade. Students and staff at Cuyamaca College in Rancho San Diego are building a replica Kumeyaay village on campus.
As ABC 10 News reporter Nate Holmes shows us, the project is part of a program to restore natural habitat.
What we're building over here is a replica Kumeyaay village.
To some, this area may look like just an open space with dirt, trees, and shrubs, but to Dr. Stan Rodriguez, it's much more.
It is a hardware store, a grocery store, a clothing store, and a pharmacy. Everything that you could ever need is right here around us.
Rodriguez is a native Kumeyaay and head of the Kumeyaay Studies Department. A replica village is being built for students to explore the land, culture, and language. Something that he says is dying out.
Right now, of the 4,623 Kumeyaay who reside on both sides of the border, there's approximately 30 people who still speak the language. So under the United Nations 9 factors of language vitality and endangerment, 5 being stable, 0 being extinct, the Kumeyaay language is listed as 1.
The village will consist of 2 gardens, a couple of shaded structures called ramadas, and 15 houses.
As you can see, the frame is made out of willow. Once we have it on, we have this frame, the next thing we're going to do, we have some people bringing cattail.
Cattail is used to thatch or cover the homes. It's a water plant that will keep families warm during the winter months and cool during the summertime. And a home like this typically lasts a family up to 2 years.
Our goal and our commitment is to make sure that we are doing this project justice.
Interim President Jessica Robinson says the Kumeyaay Studies Department has been in the making at Cuyamaca for over a decade.
We are on Kumeyaay land. We take that very seriously. It's something that gives us as a college a lot of pride. We have worked with and partnered with Kumeyaay College for many, many years.
Rodriguez says San Diego County is home to 18 reservations, more than any other across the country. 12 of them are Kumeyaay. His hope is to reverse the language shift through the program so his precious Kumeyaay culture will continue to live on.
Part of this process where we're developing speakers again so that our language, our culture continues, it brings much happiness to my heart.
Nate Holmes, ABC 10 News.
If you are a longtime San Diego resident or live in the East County, you may have heard of this well-known street, Hamasha Road, but it turns out most people are not pronouncing the name correctly.
So the street name is Hamasha, but it's pronounced Hamacha.
The phrase actually comes from the Kumeyaay word for this plant. It is commonly known as the stink gourd. Native Americans would use the gourd as playful weapon, throwing it at their enemies. If those enemies were to return, they would smell them before they got close. The plant is also used to preserve the native land.
So we have a lot of invasive species that after it rains, they're going to spring up. However, what we've noticed in the areas where this gourd starts, so that it's growing before our invasives have started this season, it will actually suffocate and choke out the invasive species.
The gourd is somewhat similar to a watermelon or pumpkin. Garcia says several other places around San Diego County are named after Kumeyaay words. So, hamachow. Tomato, tomato, right?
Yeah, there's just it's such a rich culture.
Yeah.
And it's so wonderful to take the time to really preserve the language, the culture, the arts, the people.
The heritage.
It makes San Diego what we are,
Absolutely.
that's for sure.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great evening.
Good night.